everyone, if you don't know who I am, well, you can call me Ari, and today I'm here to hopefully give a pretty short, pretty quick, pretty sweet review of a new comic that I found, and honestly ended up enjoying quite a bit, and that webcomic is called Robot Hugs. This is kind of an intentionally hard webcomic to pin down, but in order to really explain why, I guess we have to talk about the creator. Robot Hugs is not only the name of the comic, but also the pen name the creator uses. They are a Canadian writer and university graduate, and also extremely disturbed and mentally ill. Robot Hugs is kind of a way for the author to work both with and through their illness and write down some of their innermost thoughts and fears and things like that and document them for the internet. As a genderqueer, people queer person living in Canada, because as we all know, Canada can be a little biased at times when it comes to people of other races and sexualities. And Robot Hugs is a very clear indication of just how disturbed this person is and how much they're crying for help. This comic is, to kind of borrow from one of my favorite artists, Kanye West, the author's beautiful dark twisted fantasy. It both makes no sense at all, is very twisted, very illogical, very incoherent. It isn't paced, it has no consistency, but at the same time it doesn't have to be. Strips range from one panel illustrations showing how the author is probably feeling that day, like lonely or anxious or things like that, to long form coherent bits of educational storytelling, like gender, explaining how and why there are more than two genders, or sexualities, or just the author's everyday life. And it's presented in both a straightforward way, but in a way that you really have to read and dissect why a page may or may not work. This comic right here has a lot of meaning built into it. They want you to really look at these pages and try and figure out the meaning behind them. And some of them are pretty easy. Anxiety, loneliness, depression, and just not being accepted in a world that won't accept you. There's also times where the comic just goes on small little tirades. And yes, these can be considered filler, but they're also just the author just kind of jotting down what's on their mind for that day. Like early in the comic, in like 2011 or 2012, this comic has been going on for a long time, as you can see. The author kind of drew illustrations of what two animals would look like as hybrids, and a lot of them were kind of grotesque while others were kind of cute, like the spider ones. And the artwork is very simple, very crude, but it's also pretty abstract. In other words, it really fits the theme of the comic and what it's going for. And as I read the comic from beginning to end, from the 2010 pages to the 2011 pages, it really wasn't that surprising to see the comic be picked up and published on Everyday Feminism along with other great webcomics, after how it demonstrated that it wasn't afraid to tackle very serious political topics like, again, gender, sexuality, mental illness, and other things like that, other problems that face modern day society and Canada, and to an extension America, where I'm from. And I'm not gonna lie, when I saw that it was being published on Everyday Feminism, it really made me kind of proud of the author to see them being able to go to a new platform, but they also didn't forget about their website and continue to publish there. And today the comic is doing so well that it has 17,000 likes on Facebook and is still growing, and you can pick up different prints of the webcomic. It has its own niche fan base and has garnered quite a bit of praise from readers like me. In the end, it's just a really good, dark, deep, twisted webcomic, and the author has definitely come a long way from the beginning of the publication back in the early 2010s to now. They've really grown their skills as a writer and an illustrator, and in a way have become more fearless when tackling some of the very serious subject matters of the modern day. I really enjoyed this webcomic, and you might enjoy it as well. And I know I didn't say much about it in this video, and this score may be kind of confusing, but I'm seriously going to give it a 10 out of 10. And when you read the comic, hopefully you will see why. With that being said, that's all from me, everyone. As always, you can find a link to the comic along with the creator's Facebook and their other socials in the description below. And you can also find my links down there as well, like my Twitter, my Twitch, where we are currently streaming Doki Doki Literature Club and pretty soon Breath of the Wild. And if you would like to support the channel and what I do, well then you can donate to my Ko-fi. And you can also follow me on Mal if you would like to as well. Thank you all so much for watching. For those of you who have forgotten, my name is Ari, and I'll see you all next time.